Hey, good morning. Just seeing if you can hear me. Got crude oil and inventories in 30 seconds. Anybody? Thank you, Jerry. It could pull back, but I think it's going to rally right off the numbers. It's in a bullish posture. There it goes. Spiked up 50 cents, came back. It's a breakout. Let's go to the 1 minute, see if we can get a 1 minute. This is where position trading definitely comes more into play. So if you're position trading, you have already been buying in your certain areas, and then when this number hits, you actually would take profit. So that's why you get these spikes, and then the big dogs sell into that. But if it's a serious move, then it should pull back and then keep going on. Definitely hanging up there. It looks like it wants to do a bigger push. Let's go to 15 minute. Yep. Yep, it was a 2.2 million barrel draw. See how it trades at this level. Trading news is pretty interesting, obviously, because there's quick moves. Five-minute just kind of gave a pretty decent sized wick. See if we could have it pull back. I think you definitely have to go to shorter time frames when you have this type of news announcement that where there's a gap. So you could see there's a gap here from 44 to 48. I believe the research shows that like 90 something percent of the time the gap fills. And there we go. Decent push lower. Let's look at the higher time frames. That's definitely a bearish engulfing pattern. This is a 15-minute chart, so it opened up here, rallied, and now it's basically engulfed this entire half a day. That's a 30-minute chart. There's the hourly. Still bullish. Let's see where it settles up and get a buy signal. Nasdaq's dead in the water, so very, very choppy. Got this opening print, and then it's just sitting around. Must have been something underneath the number that. Let me pull it up. Yep, no extra news that I'm seeing. Jerry, if you want, we can go through. We can go through some of your trades if you want in a little bit. All right, let's see. Crude's definitely holding. Kind of thing of patience here. You know, you're looking at a pretty choppy market. I mean, this EKG, maybe get long at 05 in that area. Let's see what it does. Stock market's coming a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty much stuck. So when you look at the daily chart, we're still hanging at this higher end of the range, but you can see like this is considered a shooting star, so we had a sell-off in that area. It held though, and then we've had a rally up now. So it still has overhead in that area, but it has to work through it. That daily chart's still pretty decent. Looking a little more bearish on the 4-hour. We'll go through the charts. S&P starting to get definitely, like when I've talked about a topping pattern, it's definitely been topping for a while. But that's about as choppy as you're going to get. Ditto. Its retail sales were pretty disappointing, so I'm gonna leave the 15-minute up just because I think that's a good area. See if crude holds. Let's see here. Seems like a possibly more serious sell-off is coming. In crude oil. Let's see. Taking a look at the different systems, are still either neutral or no action. Pretty decent amount of selling coming in here. You see when you step out this a 1-hour chart, you know, pullbacks can occur. We were just off the midpoint, so this really could pull back to even 60, 80 more cents down and still be bullish. Hold that trend line. Where'd you get long, Jerry? Okay, so you got in here. Really, by making a new low, if you didn't have a stop in, if you're still long, then you have to, you really should have a stop in probably here. But now that broke a new low on this reflex rally, if you can get back a better price, we'll see if it can double bottom. Usually what happens is the sell off, the test, and then that's the next bounce. But because it made a new low instead of hold, if it held here, let me blow this up. So sold off, it rallied up, it made a test of the low, blew through it, so then it's kind of nullifies this as a low. So now it's made a new low. It's rallied up a little bit. Let's see the test. If the test can hold here, then that's a better spot. But I think the market woke up to the terrible economic numbers again. Bonds are bouncing a little bit, so. She's now retested, see if it can hold. So what I look for is now correlation effect. These are still correlated, crude and the stock market. So you can see that the stock market now is breaking to the morning low, kind of caught up to crude. It never does it in a straight line, easy fashion. It's always some type of different pattern, but once they come together, there's that sometimes you get a bounce. So they're out of whack. The stock market now came down to oil. So looking at price action on oil, sold off, made a low, rallied, made a test. That's a decent test. But from a perspective of chart, like when you look at candlesticks, this candle held, bullish candle, bearish candle, bullish. So what you'd want to see is another bullish candle here, take out that high, then we can go midpoint or even top. So this is the kind of price action here that you would need. It's kind of holding in a tough spot, but so when you look at trading, I guess that's a 1 minute. It's pretty dialed in, but 1 minute we can learn quicker on a 1 minute. So you could see when the slope is up and it has a sell-off to that and it bounces up versus here, when it's down, the bounce is weaker. So to me, this is when I go with the World Series of Poker type of mentality. You know, a blue arrow here or a turn by, which is here and here, has a 75% chance of working, getting under here. Or if you had to pick a price target, I say it's good for 20 cents. You have here maybe a 70-something% chance for 10 cents. Getting long in this area. Obviously getting long underneath this band is better than up here. But the 15-minute trend is now starting to flatten. Same in 4 hours, kind of running out of steam. We've got now, depends how this bar ends up, it's definitely running out of steam. This is actually in this recent run up, though, probably the first time that crude, you see the down. I guess this was, I think that was numbers. Oh, that was that was a stock market open. So that's the only other big down bar. That's this, especially with this type of price action. So think of the perspective of this. You bought on a breakout after the numbers saying, oh, wow, there's a draw, I'm going to buy, and there's short-term traders. So looking at the mechanics inside this bar, if they bought on that breakout, we'll just go and look at the 5-minute. They bought that breakout after the numbers saying, oh my gosh, there's a draw. That's just only we're starting to draw and not even have a build. And the bears the bulls that bought up there. Well, I'm just going to keep walking and talking through the trade, and if we see a trade, we'll put it on. I think it's better. People have said it's more helpful to just have kind of walking through trades, stuff like that. So once they bought up there, they're all now the short-term traders are puking out. When they're done, that's where you get the bounce. Now where that number is, $37. Once it starts breaking like this, for me, it's kind of no man's land. So like we were saying, it needed to break out. So you had an up candle, down candle, needed to break out, didn't, broke down. The secondary test failed. Still no bottom. I'm going to reset though. Now from a statistically stretch point, you're getting in that kind of triangle area that I like to see, but that's the 1 minute, 5-minute. Could be a decent area. Yes. The thing with news is you're actually an intra-trend change. So the question is, isn't this a definition of a downtrend? Well, yeah, the 1 minute, of course. The higher time frames are still an uptrend. So to me, I'm looking for an area that would be I'm looking for an area where it would naturally come to rest and start to give price action. The S&P definitely held. So he made a low, another low, a third low. I've also over the years saw that where you have 1, 2, 3 pushes and then it kind of falls apart. Same thing. More prevalent on the upside than down, but so you could see how this sold off and it struggled, fell apart. This one sold off. There's been 4 bullish candles so far. See the difference? Now here comes the next retest. Should hold. Well, the idea about trading stocks is basically looking at the TQQQ, which is the Nasdaq ETF, and then the USO is the oil ETF, so it tracks it pretty closely. See if I can get the so if you buy the Nasdaq futures and you buy TQQQ and it goes up, you make the same amount of money. They're actually derivatives based off each other. Now let's see the retest. Should be holding. So you like to see it hold, even ideally right here, and then reverse. More aggressive trader could get long with a stop at the low. Basically risking around 10. See if it hits. So you're looking at the 1 hour. For what we're doing is probably the highest you need to go. We've had a sell-off and a pretty massive uptrend. 15 minutes flat, but we're below the band. Way below the band on the 5-minute. Get your laser focus out. So if you want to trade off the 1 minute, it's just for entries. Let me just check the news real quick. $2.19 million barrel draw, which is more than expected. Total inventory is still near a record 30% above the average for this time of the year. It's a second weekly draw, but it's slowing. The amount of draw is slowing. And actually crude production rose. It's kind of bearish. So they literally have algo, news headline algos that read the statement, and they're looking for a program for, they can parse it in particular things that they hear. Production rose and the draw slowed. Usually the draw really this time of the year starts ramping up for Memorial Day. Bigger push lower on the stock market too. So you could see the correlation effect dragging it all down. So the price action is starting to say, in crude oil, that there's a possible trend change coming from up to down when you go out to that higher time frame. Definitely beating up stocks. Although it looks like a huge down move, and I'm going to use air quotes, crashing. Let's step back. 44.24. The way I look at it, my anchor price is 4,400 because this is where we had that sell-off day and we reversed around 4,400. We've had this big sell-off and we're still 25 points above that 4,400. I don't like the double top, so to me it's probably going to bounce in this range, bounce to here, bounce back up. Can almost draw straight line to here, straight line to here. It's going to trade in that range for the next day until some kind of catalyst can break it out there. So now it's starting to actually give a clue what it's trying to do based on how the bars, these huge wicks, are actually becoming pretty bullish. See if the price action can hold. The stock market just took a big leg down. see what the system just kicked off. Let's see at 23, 24, 23. Crude was the one. So we'll see how crude bounces back. Still under the yellow line. Let's even step it out more. I'll expand it out. I don't expect the rally to be that much. It's already the first signal I saw was at 70, so I guess it's gone 20 cents. But you'd like it to see could get up there. That's the first impulse move, so you would take profits on that. You can see how it hits the band. So when you look at, we pick like 10 or 20 cent targets, you could see that, you know, looking at the, actually I need to go and put, oh wait. This thing is always on top. So you could see on crude, like when we talk about the average true range, you know, that, where's my 1 minute? You know, we come in and pick certain areas where there could be a bounce and a trigger point. So this is one trigger point. On this NASDAQ, we've got an entry, but it's definitely a broken pattern. So I'm gonna take the, boy, this is so slow. So I had the first entry, you have that first reflex move. We'll see how it now tests the low again. If that holds, there could be another trigger. So it takes a while, but I'll get this other, I could do it with Skype. Skype, where are you? So here's the secondary push. This is good bullish price action. So that first trade is easy money. Then the second trade is, I'm going to call it harder money, but it's bigger. So if there is another bigger push up on this, then that's gonna be pretty decent. Wow. Skype's not being a friend. So you can see now that secondary move, it's pretty decent on the NASDAQ. So that was the first red candle. Now you get your second red candle. We'll see. So as a short-term trader, you can trade. Jerry is correct. We're in a 1 minute downtrend. So if you want to be an aggressive short-term trader, you get up here, you're selling the band, you're buying the band. Ideally, actually, you would sell 2 in the band. You'd buy 1 on the band, so you could actually change your you'd be able to change your. Oh God, my Skype went down. Skype has been struggling of late. See if the stock market holds here. Blow that up. You've got to buy, first sell off, second sell off. Now I've got the third sell off. You can see we went right to the midpoint of the Bollinger Band. That's actually a strategy. Obviously, it's a contrarian one, and there's there's times where it hits the bottom band and blows through it. But there's also times where it hits the bottom band and it either goes to the trade usually is if it closes below or outside it and then closes back in, you can get long for the band. So closed outside it, whenever it closes inside it, then your target is the band. Oh, people asked about the tick range chart. I'll go over that again. Actually, this one was pretty good. Made a low here, and let's expand that up a little bit. So you made a low on this bar. You can see where the stochastic, which is an oscillator, now you made a lower low, and it's much higher. That's called a bullish divergence right there. And there's our long. 26, the ultimate high was not quite 10, but It definitely seems that the bullish divergences, bearish divergences, so you have a high, you're testing near the high, look at how much the difference was, and it sells off. So I'll try and keep this up real time so we can get on that and be able to create updating the Skype. And then I was going to try and show the systems from the other computer, but Skype is not listening to me. Let's go back to oil. Oil is still neutral. It's turning though. It's turning to the long side slowly. This is definitely a time of day trade. You can see how oil is bouncing back better than the market. Almost feels like we're going to make a new low in the stock market. I'll cover the bond market. It's been definitely in the news lately. Takes a while for it to fill in. Let me reload it. $15-minute, we had that bounce yesterday. Now we're kind of stuck in a range. The reason why the bond market's important is because it's many, many times larger than the stock market. And actually the 08 crash started in the bond market, so it's definitely something to keep your eye on. Minimize that. Get the other charts. Stocks hung in there. Usually when it does that, makes that first series test that holds, that's kind of all clear. Not necessarily for the rest of the day, but for probably for a while. Still only a 6-point bounce compared to the 20-point bounce on the open. Kind of makes me laugh every time it does that. So what you want to see for a market to hold in this area is, like I said, there still needs to be some type of test here. Crude's off to the races kind of again. Still waiting for the higher time frames to turn bullish on crude. Might be a while. So in a nutshell, what I've done over my years of trading is you pretty much find your higher trend, and then once you find your higher trend, then you find it's bullish. You look on the medium trend, and then your entry. Although sometimes we enter on the 1 minute too. It's the 1 and 5 are actually fairly close. So we bought at 26. We're almost back to 26 again. So I look at this as, if this market holds, then that's a pretty good area to get back in. It's what I would call an anchor price. Actually almost hit it. The rally is more anemic now, though, as the bands are sloping down. Let's look at the 1 minute. Can't go any shorter than the 1 minute, so see if these can start to if the red bands can start to hook up, and it starts to literally, sometimes it comes down, hits it, and goes. I don't even know if it would do it here. It might just go anyway. So if there's pressure coming on the bears to make a press to a new low, you would think that when this broke right here, a low, this should have crescendo down, and it didn't. So this will probably go back up to here. That might even be the low of the day. See if Chris is long. So from a portfolio or a fund manager style, you would look at that hourly. You'd want to buy on pullbacks. You basically just anytime below here, you'd buy whatever positional lot that you're looking for. Do a quarter lot, half lot, you hold your position. So you talk about different size. I always just went either 3 units or 4. Keep it simple. Depends how much you had. get more serious to the downside. Might have to have another test. So a fund manager would buy on pullbacks, sell into rallies, buy into pullbacks, sell into rallies. You'd hold it for multiple days. If it started to roll over and break down, then that's where it's almost like you're getting less long on the way up and you're getting longer on the way down until the trend changes. Most of those guys are never short, so. It's kind of holding in there. Skype is taking a half an hour to update, really. Here goes the test down to the low again. It's back to my original first entry price. All right, let me pull this Skype. This is a tougher call now. The fact that it rallied up and now it's testing a low. I like that it's testing a low like that, but it's just less and less bullish. There's the push lower. Yeah, the 4 hour candle is down. 1 hour's down. Definitely feeling a little heavier now. It's a broken pattern, broken bullish pattern. Trying to pull up this on Skype, but it's really taking a while. Okay, thanks, Jerry. Well, my thought would be that, let me first dump this to a notepad. Just because I had switched over, I just want to be transparent with the people that caught that. We're definitely going to be trying to do what's called swing trading more. It's from a trading system, so we're able to pull people's P&L and balance. So that's the P&L for the day yesterday. So these are the 3 people that caught the trade for 720 yesterday. Actually, someone caught more than that in a day. So I just want to pull that up. I can't pull the screen. I have a screenshot of it too, but it's not. It keeps crashing the Skype a bit. But we definitely, if I'll make sure I switch back now, because we were going to run the systems in a raw fashion and then have people choose, but I could see right away where people are like, well, I didn't see the trade in the room, so I'm going to just keep it like what we're doing, what we have been doing, and then if you see the trades here, and you'll have the stops and targets. At some point when the selling pressure is done on the stock market, you'll get that floater rally, which probably might be coming now. About a 30. See, time of day, it's kind of drifted down. We'll see. This is good bullish price action. Printed a new low and then rallied. But the idea, Jerry, would be if you're manually trading, even just practice account, if we did it at the same time, I think it would be a huge value add. So if you're in a trade or you're looking for a trade, well, what do I do here? Well, here's what I see, and just talk through it. Which is even more robust than what we did out in Sacramento and San Francisco. So I would actually assume better results of the crazy good results we had out there with the training sessions. So that's kind of the basis for it. All right, we will see you on the wrap-up call. It's been pretty choppy. We're basically break even for the day on the software so far. I'm still either neutrals or no action zone, so I'm looking for I don't know, I think the Nasdaq can close at 1440. Not a problem. because they've thrown the kitchen sink at this market. Horrible retail sales numbers. So unless if it's going to be one of these crescendo days, it would have already happened. So thanks a lot. We'll see you in the raffle call. Thanks.